Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for the invite today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for accepting my request and accepting to talk with me.
Cool. Where are you calling from?
I'm from India.
Oh, nice, nice. See, it's nighttime over there.
Yeah, it's night. It's 11 p.m.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you worked late today, huh?
yeah. So before going to start, I want to introduce you to my audience.
Cool.
So you have a channel, right? Audio, the podcast.
Yes, yeah. So my name is Lou, and me and my co-host Chris Soto, we host Breathe Through this podcast. It's a podcast of two longtime friends that grew up together in Brooklyn, New York, and we share our funny stories. It's a comedy-based podcast. We also implement video editing into our podcast with like kind of skits, comedy routines, and uh, generally what we try to do is just bring entertainment and laughter to our guests. And when we're not doing that, then we upload a lot of funny material on our social media pages. You can find us on IG, Breeze Shooters at IG, or Facebook at Breeze Shooters on Facebook as well. We're also on Twitter, Breeze Shooters on Twitter. And it's a podcast that we record on a weekly basis. We just had our 1 year anniversary, first week of October, and we put together a nice compilation video showing clips of the work that we did throughout the year. And it's been pretty good. It's fun, it's entertaining, and a better way to spend time with being with friends and laughing. So I hope your fan base will tune in one day and follow us on YouTube. We have a nice following, but we can always use new fans.
Definitely. And firstly, I want to thank you, congratulate for 1 year anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah. We hope that's the plan.
So, let's talk about your idea, Breezers Shooters podcast. When you got this idea and what made you to think about it and what made you to start this podcast?
Funny enough, probably back in like maybe 2005, me and my buddy Chris, we used to play basketball all the time, and we have a really good chemistry in terms of comedy. We get each other's jokes, we finish each other's punchlines, and so back then I kind of tossed the idea at him and said, "Hey man, we should start a podcast because these podcast shows are starting to, pick up steam, and it might be a good way for us to, entertain folks." And he always told me, yeah, yeah, he's a procrastinator, so we never really got around to it. Fast forward 15 years later, no, actually 14 years later, I asked him again. I said, "Hey, you want to try the podcast? Because now everybody has a podcast." And then he said, "Why not?" So I just picked up my recording equipment and I went straight to his house the next day, and we just started recording from there. And it's been fun ever since. So we hope to continue going and providing content that's engaging and making entertaining folks. That's our main objective.
What was your first topic together?
First topic was pretty much just setting the groundwork and of what we're trying to accomplish, connecting with the folks, letting them know who we are, and what we plan to do and where we hope to kind of go. So it's kind of like a vision, so to speak, where, hey, we're trying to do this. We know that we're inexperienced, and pretty much just asking folks to kind of stick around as we go along. We'll improve and get better. And to this day, we still make mistakes, but I feel from when we started to now, we have gotten better, and we will continue to get better. And it will be a better product for our listeners.
So, what was your thought when you did the first the audio clip?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the first part of that.
What was your first thought when you completed the first audio clip for your podcast?
It was very rough. It was very raw, and but at the same time, I found the comedy in that. The reason why we have really good chemistry, me and my co-host, is because we try to find the funny in everything. any situation we go into, whether it's sad, whatever, we always try to look for the funny in it. And I think that's key when you're trying to provide comedy to your listeners is trying to bring that funny, kind of lighten things up. So if you had a hard day at work and you want to relax, you come to us and we try to provide you entertainment so you can kind of forget about your problems of things that are going on at work, home. And so it was raw, but to answer your question, it was raw, but we still found the comedy in it, and we kind of it was funny because actually, the first episode, my friend has like a little waterfall fixture in his house, and it was running throughout. But when you're in that environment, you don't notice it. But the microphones were picking up the waterfall, and everybody in our YouTube feed was like, "Hey, was there like a water leak? Like, what's the sound of the ocean?" And but it was the waterfall, so that became like a running prop with our with our shows. And from time to time, we'll put it on just to get a good laugh.
So, comedy is something in which you will take the things and you will try to pull something down so that you can make people to smile.
Yeah, we try. Sometimes it's hard, especially now in the midst of a pandemic. But there's also a lot of laughter out there. There's a lot of comedy that could be pulled from these situations. For example, people not wearing their masks. You have a large sector of people that don't want to wear their masks. You have people that do want to wear their mask. So within that in itself, you find comedy. It's just videos that are shared with us, or stories that we come across, we find the funny in it, and we kind of try to highlight it on the show. And then, of course, you have like, celebrity topics, you have sports, and we sprinkle in a little bit of everything. There's really no set format. It's like wherever the comedy takes us, that's where we want to go.
Okay, so you both decided to do comedy and you decided to make people smile.
Yes, that was it was something that we were doing naturally. We would like we would meet up on the basketball courts in New York City. It's a big thing. Like when you go to the basketball courts, you have maybe 15 to 30 guys on the basketball court. So not everybody can play at the same time. So usually on the sidelines are where a lot of the comedy happens. Like especially if somebody's playing and something funny happens, everybody starts teasing and making fun of that person. But it's good natured fun. But
Okay.
when me and Chris were around, it seemed to be heightened. Like we would continue to make people laugh, and it got to a point where people, they would tell us, "Hey, be quiet, leave us alone, don't tease us," But at the end of the day, everybody knew it was just jokes. It was just making people laugh and have a good time.
So you both make fun of each other in your podcast.
Oh yes, absolutely. Every opportunity, he because he's very witty when it comes to jokes, and he's always looking for something funny. So if I stumble or if I make a mistake, I know he's gonna come and make fun of me. So it's like it's a back and forth, and that's what's that's the main ingredients for the show. It's just having a back and forth where you can make each other laugh. Again, nothing malicious, but just good nature humor.
How this chemistry happen?
Just being around each other and having common interests like sports, poker, growing up in the city of New York, both being of Latin heritage, and just those common grounds kind of naturally we kind of gravitated to each other, and it kind of took off from there.
Have you ever thought that this day we cannot do comedy because we are very serious or we had some sad things happen yesterday, so we cannot do comedy? Have you ever felt you or your partner?
You know what? I feel like that a lot on a lot of our shows. It's scary, what things you could talk about. Society has gotten real sensitive, or they really want to censor what's being said by comedians. That's why I look to comedians like David Chappelle, who could talk about any subject, and he is so masterful where he could touch on, let's say, a sensitive subject like rape, and
Yeah,
still comedy in it. I'm
yeah, yeah.
nowhere, we're nowhere near that, but hearing guys like that kind of inspire us to continue going and allow us to talk about sensitive subjects. However, we do try to respect the climate of what's going on, and we don't try to broach it too heavy. We just kind of stay on the surface because there are some certain things that are really difficult to talk about, and we're not trained to that level, but we still don't try to shy away from it. We'll have conversations about it and try to find the comedy in it.
Have you ever got negative comments for making fun of something and talking about something which makes somebody's sensibility or somebody's some community got affected because of the fun that you created from it?
Uh, Not really. I mean, well, you know what? A lot of our jokes are usually in regards to the people that we know that are kind of in our circle. So from time to time, they'll tell us, "Hey, man, you got this story wrong. It didn't happen like that." Like if we're retelling a story of something funny that happened, but nothing serious where anybody felt like they were offended and or anything of that nature. Because we try not to go that deep. Again, we try to keep it funny. And if you're hurting somebody's feelings, then it's no longer funny. So it's a fine balance of knowing how far you could go with a joke.
So comedy is that there in your body since you were a kid, or it is just generated when you saw your partner or when you met your partner?
No, I was pretty much a class clown when in the early ages in school because in New York City, or I guess in most places, popularity is gained in the classroom for making your fellow classmates laugh. So it was almost a competition who could be the funniest. And from an early age, I was always trying to. Well, from an
Mhm.
early age, I was always trying to make people laugh. That was a big buck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
something like that, we would have had so much fun with that. We would have made a lot of.
okay. But it is very important for you to have a person who can make fun like you, so that so that you both can create the best comedy and you can make people to laugh, right? It is very important for you to have a good partner.
Yes, yes. I mean that's the key because see what you're doing right now, you're by yourself. That's really difficult because you have to hold up the conversation, you have to keep it going. It's easy to have somebody to bounce it off because what that does, it kind of brings new ideas as you're going along and maybe I'm going in a direction that's not necessarily funny and he could just, change the course and bring in
Yeah,
some. So you kind of help each other out, and I think it's very important to have a partner, especially when we try to do what we're trying to do, like bring
yeah.
laughter. So it helps.
And is that possible for you to create fun every time?
It's hard. It's hard, but we try to go. There've been times where it's not as funny, but then again, it depends on your audience. Sometimes people have different,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that they so it's really hard because one of the difficult things that we find sometimes is that the response, as you may know, being a fellow YouTuber, when you put stuff up, sometimes if your audience is not engaging enough or they don't post comments, it kind of leaves you in a funny situation where you don't know what you're providing, if it needs to be changed or if it needs to continue. So definitely engagement by your listeners is key. So that's why we kind of use other social media platforms to kind of throw out our video clips. And based on their reactions, we know, all right, this seems
yeah,
to be something good, so we're going to stay in this direction. So it's a trial and error type thing. Sometimes we miss, sometimes we
yeah.
hit, but we try to be consistent with what we're doing.
Okay. So, what do you remember the first comments that you got for your first clip?
Yeah, no, they were like, they were like, "Hey, you guys are hysterical. You're funny. Keep it going. We really appreciate you guys." And it's just, it was good feedback. It was good feedback, and most of that was generally from our close friends. So, and then we always finish the show that by saying, "Hey, if you appreciate or you like what we're doing, please recommend this to somebody else." And we seen our audience starting to grow, and they're tuning back in, which is key. So that's a good thing.
So for me, I'm creating content in which every emotion will be there, not only the smile. But for you in your channel, you have to. It is mandatory for you to create the fun. So it's
Yeah,
very tough job for you,
yeah,
and
it could be.
it is very important for you to be very happy all the time to create the happiness in the people who are listening to you.
And you just said it right there. That's the hard thing. So sometimes if I have a hard day and I know we're going to record that day, I gotta find a way to transition, put myself in a good space, and generally what we'll do is we'll do a pre-production meeting, and we'll just start making fun of each other, or we'll start
Okay.
and that kind of gets us in that right mindset going into the
Yeah.
show. It hopefully translates something funny.
I'm sure you both will be spending more time with each other so that that combo, that connection will be there, and it continues, and even when people are listening to you when you come for the live.
Yes, yes. Well, hopefully, once we get out of this pandemic, because that's been a really big challenge or obstacle for us is not being together because we live in different states. So generally, when we record, we'll record in New York, but I actually live in a neighboring state of Jersey. So not being in the same room, it's hard to get that chemistry because with the audio, there's a slight
Yeah,
delay. So the
yeah.
time kind of suffers there. So it's been a little tough. So hopefully, once we get through this pandemic situation, we can resume our regular scheduling events, and the chemistry will be there where we could, continue where we started.
And also, yeah, you said the right thing. The timing is very important for you to create a smile. You know,
Yeah,
when the fraction of seconds, the response should come when you are expressing something, right? It is.
absolutely. It's all about time. It's all about time.
Yeah, I watch a lot of, in my language, Telugu movie language. I belong to Indians. I belong to South Indian. I watch a lot of South Indian comedy movies or
Oh,
comedy
do you?
video clips. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there are very few couples in the movies. The pair, the male pair can create comedy. And, when they make comedy, I think that is going to be a blast. Like people are going to, you know if they, that combo is hit combo. It's like when they are coming, when they are in the movie, definitely a set of people are ready to just watch the movie because they want fun, they want to see them making fun. So that combination, when he's throwing some comment on that person and that person is throwing the same other comment on this, that will be like very very fast. That will not happen in a lot of pairs. Actually, they try, the directors will try, but very few people gets connected, and you got the best partner. I think that is amazing.
No, it's funny that you say that because we are part of our routine or our comedy is that I'm the setup guy, but my friend Chris is the finisher. He comes with the joke, and he's always ready. He's always ready for that, looking for that opportunity. We use basketball reference alley oop. I'm like, hey, I'm passing you the ball, and then he'll spike it or dunk it or whatever. So it like what you just said is so key. It's being in that room and knowing when the person is setting up a joke and how you're going to finish the joke, come in with the punchline to make it funny. And it's easier when you're in the same room together versus,
Yeah,
through Skype or Zoom. It's
yeah, yeah,
difficult.
yeah. So how many audio clips you both did?
We recorded already over 70, close to 80, like
80.
70, yeah, close to 80 videos. Um, and mind you, we were probably on goal to hit 100, maybe a little bit over 100 had the pandemic not happened because we were recording two audios a week, and then we kind of scaled back. Now we're just doing once a week because with the Zoom, it's a little more
Yeah, yeah,
difficult, the editing that comes involved. So we just doing once a week. And, we've seen our numbers suffer a little bit because of that. But I think also what's happening is that people are not consuming the podcast how they normally, like driving into work, that a lot of people are working from home. So I don't think a lot of people are listening to the podcast how they normally would, or at work they would listen to it. Now, what happens is that that starts to affect your numbers. So, but when you look at the analytics for all YouTubes, a lot of platforms and numbers are suffering because of this, because there's no set routine. Um, we're starting to see that kind of, affect the numbers a little bit. But again, I think once we get through this, I think everything will resume, and then hopefully we'll be in a good place where people could start listening more frequently.
Okay. So when did you start this channel?
October of 2019 was when we
1 year.
started.
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year exactly.
Okay. But why only you did 80 video clips? I mean, sorry, audio clips.
Because like I said, we were on task to maybe over a year, but with the pandemic, it slowed us
Yeah, yeah,
down. So we do once a week, and the other thing too is I don't live close to my friends, so we have to kind of plan. We have a schedule in place, so we meet once a week. So that's
yeah,
pretty.
yeah. Because your channel contains two people, but in my channel, I'm the only guy, and
Yeah,
it's that is the only advantage. But there will be a lot of other things which is not possible for me, and which are possible for you, which may not possible for me.
yeah. That's the good thing about flying, doing the show by yourself. You can kind of just pick up and do it anywhere.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure you're more consistent with dropping shows. With us, too, we also need time for content to build. So
yeah, correct.
going on in the news, if it's a slow news day, then there's really not much there. But if we take a whole week sample, we have a lot of different things that we could talk about.
Yeah.
So it's giving us enough time so we could talk about stuff or recap stuff that people maybe might not have heard of, or try to find the funny in the news that's out there.
So you have 1 year experience on this, right?
Yes, only 1 year.
So yeah, 1 year experience. So you have understood all the channels and your channel and what is the percentage of the audience are connecting to comedy?
I think it's good. I think it's good. People, they definitely like comedy. It's something that when we do talk to our listeners, is something that they really look forward to, especially with everything that's going on. People losing family members to the COVID-19
Yeah.
virus, and people going through hardships, not having work because uh, things are closed down. So it gives them an avenue to come and find laughter so they can kind of forget about their problems. And that's really our goal, is trying to make you forget about problems. We have a saying that if you come see us, it's like if you take your vitamin one a day, it keeps you healthy. But if you come to us for comedy once a day, it keeps you so, cleansed or clean. It's good. Comedy for the soul is good.
Will you prepare before doing a audio clip? Will you both talk about it and will you prepare before 1 day or 2 days or any preparation?
Yes, and before every show, we have what's called like a pre-production meeting. We'll pull up. Generally, I'm the person that pulls up like news clips, things that are funny that's going on.
Okay.
My partner, he's very good with stories, so he will go into his memory bank, or he has an archive of funny stories that happen, and he'll share with me. Well, this is a story that I want to bring up, and what we try to do is try to make everything kind of circle around that story. So that story will be the key of the show, but however, our comedy will kind of like fall in line to kind of bridge the gap and bring everything together. So it doesn't take long, maybe 40 minutes beforehand. We discuss what we're going to go over.
Actually, you both are making a lot of people to increase their lifespan because of your wealth that you have. You're creating smiles, and smile is very important for human being, and that actually makes them to do things that they cannot do or they are unable to do. And you people are coming at right time, and people who are following you and subscribing and just seeing your content, they just wanted to come out from their moods and that is not only helpful for them from the from coming from their negative mind state or negative things that they have, and it also helps them in being happy and being healthy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, thank you. Yeah, that's the goal. We try, we really do try. We do understand the power of laughter, and how it could just, change a person's state of mind, no matter what they're going through. So we definitely recognize that. We actually enjoy just hanging out and, being who we are. It's not forced, is very generic. And if we can make somebody laugh, then, we did our job, and that's what that's the goal.
But I'm sure you both will see things in different way. Not maybe me, I see things in different way, and the people who are creating other content sees things in different way. You can make fun out of anything. It can be any serious thing.
Like, I'll leave with this. If my partner was here, he would have a field day with your hair. Your hair is beautiful. I love it. But he's a comedian, so he's gonna be like, "Oh my God, look at that beautiful blonde hair," and he'll go on and on and on. Where maybe you'll probably cut the video short because he'll just drive you
Yeah,
crazy. But it is nice hair, though. I love your hair.
thank you. Yeah, one I have an observation I want to share with you.
Okay.
One of the Indian movie director, he's a senior director. He said about laugh, how he create laugh in a movie. He said, the best way to convey a serious message to a serious person is through through a fun thing. For example, you know. I don't, that is very important thing. And one person's dad have died. He have expired, and his friend knows that. His friend knows that, and he should explain that thing to his friend that your dad have expired today in hospital, so he's no more. If he comes and tells him seriously, he may react in a negative way, or it will be like very very bad visual. So he said, he created a situation like, what, that he was expressing like this, explaining like, what, my friend, do you know something? Your dad is very lucky because he got chance to, go to the God and live with him. It's amazing when your dad got a very good chance, and he started laughing at it, and he started expressing the serious thing in a joking way, in a funny way, and in that way he expressed the message. At the same time, he created fun, and that friend don't know how to react.
No, let me tell you, that's a special talent. If you What you just explained right there, that's amazing, because you just changed the whole outcome of that. That person would have been down, and you were able to bring laughter, because then what that does, it allows the person to cope with the situation, because especially when you deal with death, a lot of people, the tendency is just to go into a deep funk and go to a state of depression. But if you could kind of bring the comedy element into it, then it kind of transitions where you're kind of just remembering the good times, the positive times that you had with that person. And I think it allows you to cope with the situation and move forward, you know? So yeah, that is funny, and it is true. I love seeing people like that in action. Sometimes I just sit back and I watch them work, because I think it's fascinating.
Sometimes that is best way of expressing a serious topic or serious messages.
Uh, I think what is it called? It's called the icebreaker. Icebreaker is like when you start off with a joke, and you kind of like uh you 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 kind of ease the mood. You start off with a joke, and everybody's like the tense environment kind of leaves the room, and then now everybody's easy, and then you could kind of go into the serious subject matter, and then maybe in there you'll sprinkle a little bit of comedy when appropriate, and when. But a lot of that has to do with you knowing the room, reading the room, and how they're going to read. But sometimes you have some really serious people that are just tough to crack,
Yeah, yeah.
and trying to be funny, you can't allow those people to kind of take your energy. You got to
Yeah, yeah.
energy, find a way to kind of like navigate to bring that laughter. And but it's something with trial and error. A lot of times you fall. I mean, you know how many comedians we have good friends that are comedians, and they tell us horror stories when they go on stage and everybody's just looking at them and they're trying new material and they're saying they get no response. That is
Yeah,
really because now you're in a room holding a microphone with a spotlight on you and you have a crowded room just looking
yeah,
at you. Nobody's laughing, and you have to be able to kind of like rebound from that and have another joke to go to. And then sometimes it just doesn't work. It's not
yeah.
your day. It's not your day. So then you got to kind of move forward.
Yeah, that is what my next question is. I did videos with all the authors and writers who wrote books, and like they are very serious people when they are explaining about birds. I in most of the people I didn't see smile on their face. When
Yeah,
they are explaining, you know,
it's
they are
difficult.
very serious. Like they wrote books about putting their time for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. So I can't see smile on their face. Even if they don't smile, I cannot smile because if I smile, they may think that I am insulting. It will be disturbing visual for them. They are telling something very seriously. So if I react in a smiling way, they may think that I am like not taking them seriously, not taking what they are. They wrote a book and they are explaining about it. I have to be serious. So I became serious man, and yeah, definitely. I should change. I should do maybe videos with the people who can smile and can make smile. And I think in this video, I think I'm smiling more than all my videos.
But listen, you're already on your way because you're reading the room. But what you have to do now is when you have these serious people, maybe start off with an icebreaker, say a little joke, just to kind of make it a little lighter. That's if you want to go funny. But if you don't, if you want to, if it's a serious topic and you want to keep it, but even within a serious topic doesn't mean that it has to be stuffy. You could, sprinkle in a little.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I I'm sorry because I'm kind of like running out of time here in terms
Okay.
of I do really appreciate the invite that you extended to me today. I am extremely appreciative of it. I hope your fans and your listeners will tune in to Breeze Shooters podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook. It's worth the laugh. It's if you want to just escape your normal routine, come tune in for 40 minutes and just laugh at two goofballs just having fun, poking fun at each other, and just recapping world events and things of that nature. But again, thank you for the time. Really do appreciate it, and I wish you continued success.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and thank you so much for giving your valuable time. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel? This recorded
I,
video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
no, absolutely. Can you just share the link with me on IG so I could
Yeah.
tune in and tell my listeners to tune in?
Yeah. 100%. I'll send you that. Yeah.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Yeah. You too. Bye.